The peoples of Kenya migrated from their original homelands and settled in various parts of Kenya by the 19th century. Once settled, they organized themselves socially, economically, and politically. We shall look at the economic, social, and political organization of the Bantu, the Kushites, and the Nilotes.
The term Bantu refers to a group of people who speak related languages. They make up the largest language group in Africa.
The Ameru belonged to the eastern group of the Bantu. During their migration, they came into contact with various communities. From these interactions, they were able to develop a system of government that ensured high standards of morality and stability. The subgroups of the Ameru are Igembe, Tigania, Imenti, Mitine, Igonji, Mwimbi, Mudhambi, Chuka, and Tharaka.
There are several aspects of the Ameru social organization. They include 1. They had councils which ranged from children councils to the supreme councils. 2. The supreme council was known as Njurinjeke. This council made the moral code which was followed by all. 3. The council ensured a high standard of morality in the society. 4. There were penalties for those who did not adhere to the moral code. For example, they paid fines like a bundle of mira, a pot of cowpeas for women, and even a bull or a goat. 5. Marriage was an important social institute. Marriage within the same clan was not allowed. 6. The Ameru believed in the existence of a supreme god called Baba Wetu, meaning our Father. They believed that their God was omnipresent and was loving to all. 7. They believed in the existence of spirits who played a significant role in the community. 8. They believed in life after death. 9. They initiated both boys and girls through circumcision. And 10. Initiation was important because it ensured upright behavior, instilled courage, and enhances the devotion of a person to the community. And 11. There was division of labor among the Ameru. For example, women built houses while men defended the community. The movie provided shows a woman smoothing the wall of her house.
The political organization of the Ameru was guided by the clan. The clan was the basis of the Ameru political system. The councils were responsible for the day-to-day running of the community.
The Ameru had an age-set system which provided the community with warriors for defense. The warriors were called Ndaka and were isolated from the community for military training. They had religious leaders who influenced their political administration, for example, Mugwe. The Ameru engaged in various economic activities. This included 1. They cultivated crops like millet, black beans, and mira. 2. They kept various animals like cattle, sheep, and goats. 3. They traded with their neighbors, for example, the Agikuyu. 4. They practiced iron working. They made iron tools like spears and knives. 5. They practiced hunting and gathering to supplement their diet. And 6. They practiced basketry, weaving, and pottery.
The Abagusi belong to the Western Bantu speakers. They have settled in the Kisii Highlands in southern part of Nyanza.
1. The clan was the basis of their social organization. Members of the clan shared a common ancestor. 2. They circumcised both boys and girls. 3. During initiation, the initiates were taught community values, customs, taboos, and secrets. 4. The Abagusi believed in the existence of a powerful god called Ngoro, who was the overall creator. 5. They believed in the ancestral spirits who mediated between God and man. 6. They offered sacrifices to appease the spirits. 7. They had diviners, seers, and priests. And 8. Priests offered prayers, whereas diviners interpreted God's message to the people.
The Abagusi political organization was also based on the clan system. The clan was led by a council of elders. They had a hereditary chief called Omogambi, who also presided over religious ceremonies. They also had age set based on the time of circumcision. The age sets were mainly concerned with the defense of the community. The Abagusi engaged in various economic activities. They grew crops, they kept animals, they were also traders. The Cushitic speakers are said to have originated from the Ethiopian highlands. It's from here that they moved to their current homes in Africa. In Kenya, they arrived in two groups, the Eastern and the Southern Cushites.
The Somali are the largest group of Eastern Cushitic speakers in Kenya. They are believed to have originated from the northern part of present-day Somalia, along the Gulf of Eden.
The Somali social organization was as follows. Their social setup was based on the clan, which consisted of related families. They circumcised boys who became members of an age set. They believed in the existence of a god called Wak, whom they believed was creator and controller of all aspects of their lives. They also had people who mediated between them and God in the religious centers. In the 16th century, they interacted with Muslims and adopted Islamic culture and religion. There was division of labor according to gender. For example, men took care of animals while women carried out domestic chores and constructed houses. The institution of marriage was highly valued and was polygamous in nature. Marriage within the same clan was not allowed. The Somali political organization was as follows. They had a decentralized system of government. It was based on the clan, which comprised of related families. Due to their pastoralist way of life, their political organization was not stable. The clan was headed by a council of elders which had the following duties: maintaining law and order and settling land disputes. The Somali had the age-set system which formed the basis of their military organization. The age sets had responsibility of defending the community. Due to Islamic influence, the Somali political setup was changed. They adopted the institution of sheikhs and imams as leaders of the community. The political system was based on the Islamic Sharia law. The Somali had several economic activities. 1. They were nomadic pastoralists. 2. They kept animals like camels, cattle, goats, and sheep, from which they got milk, blood, and meat. 3. They traded with their neighbors. They exchanged their goods with the Pokomo and the Mijikenda. 4. A section of the Somali practiced ironworking and craft industries, for example, pottery and weaving. This section of the Somali was occupied by the Sab, or outcasts. And 5. They practiced hunting and gathering.
The Nilotic speakers are the second largest group after the Bantu. Their origin is associated with River Nile and they speak related languages. Their cradle land is said to be Bahr el Gaza in Sudan.
The Maasai belong to the plain Nilotic speakers. They expanded as far as northern Tanzania by the end of second half of the 18th century. By 19th century, they had reached the peak of their power and they developed political, social, and economic institutions. The map provided in the next page shows their current settlement. One, their social organization was based on the clan. Each clan had a particular brand of cattle. There were 5 clans which were spread throughout Maasai land. 2, they circumcised both boys and girls at puberty. 3, after initiation, the boys joined an age set which they belonged to for the rest of their lives. 4, the age set formed a bond that united all the Maasai. 5, boys circumcised together joined the junior warrior class called the Morans. 6, the Morans lived in special homesteads called Manyatas. 7, the Maasai had diviners and medicine men. 8, by the first half of the 19th century, the Purko Maasai created the institution of the Oloibon. 9, the Oloibon was a religious leader who presided over religious ceremonies. He was the custodian of rituals. He blessed the warriors before going to war. 10, the Maasai believed in the existence of a god called Enkai. 11, they offered prayers and sacrifices to Enkai at the shrines. 12, the Maasai had several social ceremonies which marked the rites of passage like birth, circumcision, and death. 10, the Maasai believed in the existence of a god called Enkai. 11, they offered prayers and sacrifices to Enkai at the shrines. 12, the Maasai had several social ceremonies which marked the rites of passage like birth, circumcision, and death. 13, the most important of these ceremonies was the Unoto ceremony that marked the graduation of the Morans into junior elders. The largest political unit among the Maasai was the tribal section. It was a geographical distinct entity which operated as a nation. Their In the 19th century, the Maasai adopted the institution of the Oloibon, a religious leader who assumed political powers. The Oloibon became a unifying force, for example, during time of crises like war. The Maasai were mainly pastoralists. They practiced nomadic pastoralism, whereby they kept large herds of cattle, flocks of sheep and goats. Cattle provided milk and meat, and were a measure of one's wealth. The Maasai raided their neighbors for cattle. For example, they raided the Luo, the Nandi, Agikuyu, and Abagusi. A section of the Maasai, the Kwavi, practiced cultivation of crops like finger millet and sorghum in addition to pastoralism. The Maasai also traded with their neighbors, for example, the Agikuyu, Kalenjin, Taita, and Abagusi. In addition, they practiced crafts like basket weaving, making leather items like sandals and necklaces. The Maasai practiced hunting and gathering to supplement their diet. They also practiced iron working, and they made items like spears, arrowheads, hoes, and swords.